Ladies and gentlemen, I believe I was wrong with one of my previous Boosted News videos. We just got a message today that Boosted has laid off a significant amount of their employees, as well as looking for a new owner. What's up, guys? It's Brandon. Welcome back to another sort of e-skate news video. I don't know what exactly to call this type of video yet, but this is an update to a video I did like a couple weeks ago, basically talking about how Boosted is in sort of a bad financial situation. And I was saying that I believed that, they would come out on top eventually. They would, get the money that they needed and can, continue to, be Boosted, continue to do their thing. But today, just a few hours ago, Boosted put out this blog post from the CEO and CTO, Jeff Rusicow and John Ullman, basically saying that, in short, this is kind of like a goodbye message. There's some details in it that might not make it exactly a goodbye message, but, let's go through it. So the first thing they say is that today they had to make a difficult decision to let a significant portion of the Boosted team go. How significant? I don't know. We don't know the percentage, but I did read another article, I think, from The Verge saying that they kept some core customer service people on. I'll go into that a bit later on. And then they go on to say, this news might come to a surprise to many, but we talked about it a couple weeks ago, so it wasn't necessarily a surprise to some of the people who've been keeping up with the news. But they cited that developing an electric vehicle is hard and, highly capital intensive. And especially with the challenges of the US-China tariff war, they were not prepared for the expensive hit that they took. So that was the reason they cited for having to let go most of their team. And then they go on to say that the Boosted brand will continue to pursue strategic options under new ownership. This could mean many things, and it can be interpreted in many ways. This is the only thing they say regarding the ownership, this line. So to me, when I first read that, it sounded to me that they were going to continue having already found new ownership. So to me, it sounded that, they have an owner already, somebody else took them on. And, it could also be interpreted in this other way that Boosted is actually looking for a buyer, somebody to own Boosted Board, to buy the brand. And either of these situations could mean very different things. If Boosted has a new owner already, they already found a new owner, somebody bought them out, then that could be good for the Boosted brand. It might not mean that we're getting the same Boosted that we've always had. That new owner might take Boosted in a whole other direction. They might just use the brand name Boosted for something else. So we don't know. If that's the case, another owner has Boosted, they could take Boosted and go in a completely different direction. The second case is if Boosted is looking for a buyer, and I think that could be really bad because if they're looking for a buyer, that also comes with the risk that they might not find a buyer. And in that case, then we won't have Boosted anymore. Boosted is goodbye as we know it. And frankly, that's really awful news for the e-skate community and industry as a whole. Or to some people it's good news, but I think overall it is bad news. And I'll go into why in a bit. If Boosted does get bought by somebody, if they're looking for a buyer, they get bought by someone, again, the same things that I said earlier applies. The new owner could take Boosted in a completely different direction. Either way, the Boosted as we know it today, the number one leading electric skateboard industry with great customer service, or great, the last couple months haven't been too good as Boosted board buyers have been seeing. Basically, that brand is no longer going to be the same Boosted brand. From the fact that they've laid off a significant portion of their Boosted team means that they're keeping on the some customer service people. This means that they're essentially ramping down production. They're basically preparing for the company to die because they essentially don't have funds. They don't have funds to, from what I'm gathering from this article, they don't have the funds to create more boards. The tariff war has really hit them in a bad spot. And they're getting ready to sizzle out if they don't have a new owner. I want to talk about what that means for the electric skateboard industry as a whole, for the community as a whole, but I'm going to talk about that after we kind of get through the rest of the message. The rest of the message is really brief. Basically, the next couple things they say are, they're talking about the Boosted history, what they've done in the last couple of years, namely their new electric skateboard line, as well as their Boosted Rev electric scooter, which, by the way, is one of the main driving forces to putting Boosted in this financial situation. The Boosted Rev was a $1,600 high quality electric scooter that nobody wanted because everybody else in the electric scooter industry that was already, set in stone already, people who were buying electric scooters were way more likely to buy the $300 or $400 electric scooters that did everything that they wanted to for, commuting purposes. So most people would not be buying $1,600, which is four $400 electric scooters. The Rev, I think, was ultimately the reason why Boosted was put into this situation and why we're getting this message today. But other than that, this message goes on to talk about, how Boosted has grown as a brand to one of to the biggest electric skateboard brand in the world. And then they go on to thank their customers and their community. And reading the message as a whole, it's kind of saddening because the more you kind of look at it, it is kind of a goodbye message. They're talking about their history, and then they're talking about thanking their community. It's sad, I own a Boosted board, and I'm sure many of my viewers own a Boosted board. I'm going to start talking about the electric skateboard community. I guess first I'll start talking about Boosted owners. What this means is that we're no longer going to get support that we might need in the future for our Boosted board electric scooters, Boosted Revs. Obviously, if Boosted is no longer a thing, we can't get our boards serviced. So what some people are saying online is this is the time to start buying parts that you might need, whether you're able to buy it from Boosted or buy it used or offhand from somebody else. Because if you intend to continue using your electric skateboard for commuting purposes for however long you need to, you're gonna need parts eventually to fix up your board. Because if Boosted dies, we're no longer gonna get support for that from Boosted officially. And that's sad, but I've had my Boosted board for way over 2 years now, and it's still going strong. But I guess it's also time to start thinking about, once the Boosted dies, you're gonna need another board if you're gonna continue riding. So that kind of transitions me into the next point. Since the name brand electric scooter that most people know, anybody you ask on the street that has heard of electric skateboards, they've probably heard of Boosted. But since this company is gone, people who were going to buy Boosted or looking up Boosted boards, they might start looking for other electric skateboards, which is really great for other electric skateboard brands out there. It'll get exposure out there, especially for those YouTube vloggers. A ton of YouTube vloggers will look up Boosted board and that'll add content to their vlogs. But if this is really happening, they're not going to be able to buy Boosted boards, so they might look to other electric skateboard brands. Because regardless, of an electric skateboard is still really a good transportation. It's a really good thing to have, I guess for a YouTube vlogger. So I feel like people still want electric skateboards. But the other thing about Boosted as the biggest brand in the industry falling is the fact that imagine when the iPhone first came out, and then a couple years after the iPhone, Apple completely dies out. If that happened, that would mean that people might not have as much faith for smartphones during that time period. So what I'm saying is, since Boosted, the biggest company, is gonna die out, general people will not have faith in the electric skateboard industry, because if the top of the top couldn't survive, then how can they expect other electric skateboard brands to survive in this market, and how can they make it profitable? And I'm not saying that there aren't electric skateboard companies that are profitable. There's so many electric skateboard companies that they're probably doing good. They're probably nowhere near this. They're selling a ton of boards, and the ones that come to mind are usually the ones that are selling budget boards, that are selling a lot of boards. But I honestly don't know their financial situation, so I could be wrong. But from what I've seen, there are companies that are doing fine in this industry. What's not fine is that other people looking to, buy an electric vehicle, portable electric vehicle, might feel turned off from, buying an electric skateboard now that this happened. So I think as a whole, it could be bad for the electric skateboard industry. For individual electric skateboard companies, it could be good because more people are buying their products if they're not buying Boosted. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is the electric skateboard community. Since, because of the layoffs, that most likely includes all the boosted board ambassadors in every single city. Every single major city most likely has a boosted board ambassador, and I'm sure if you're from another city, your local boosted board ambassador. The one in New York City is Tom. So people like Tom, these boosted ambassadors, they will no longer be paid to host events, host group rides. And if you're a boosted board ambassador, loves to host rides anyway, I'm sure you guys will be fine. But I'm sure it'll affect communities in a way that you might start seeing less rides, less big official rides, and more just community created rides. So that could mean communities could start dying out if the main person who's hosting those rides no longer host those rides, or it could mean that there's more community growth because now it's up to the community to create those rides, which means maybe the communities will get together and continue to host these rides and continue to keep it thriving. It could go either way, but if you're in a community, definitely watch out. If you want to keep your community alive, you'll have to keep hosting rides, because Boosted was such a big name in just cultivating communities. Most cities will have a Boost ambassador, and they would just keep making rides, and a community grows from just that. But that's no longer there, so it's risky. So just be aware of that. Other than that, those were kind of my main thoughts, at least for today. This article literally just came out a couple hours ago, and people started writing about it, post online, and I wanted to get this video recorded fast just to have this out there. There might be updates to this in the future. There might be more messages, more articles, and we might get updates on that boosted owner buyer situation, because that's still kind of unclear to me. But overall, I think this is very sad. This is very sad news for the community, because I know a lot of my friends, me specifically too, and a lot of my viewers, we own boosted boards. So, and I'm sure a lot of us also love our boosted boards. So to hear this news is quite unfortunate. But again, as I've mentioned many times in this video, this news could mean many things. It could mean many good things, or it could mean many bad things, or a mix of both. But everything I've said in this video has been my opinion. Again, I've been wrong once with my previous video. Obviously, Boosted is in even deeper trouble than I had originally thought. So let me know if you have any thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of you have thoughts and opinions about this. So drop them in the comments. Drop anything you want to say in the comments, and let's have a discussion. Let's get some conversation going on about what you think about this message from Boosted Board, what you think is going to happen to Boosted Board, or what's going to happen to the electric skateboard industry and the community. I don't know what's gonna happen. No one really knows, so let's at least just talk about it. That's basically all I had to say for this video. I wanted to keep this short, but I kind of rambled on for a bit longer than I expected. If you did like this video, do hit the like button. I would like to do more of these sort of e-skate news videos. I don't exactly know what to call this yet, but I do want more of these in the future, so keep an eye out. If you like this type of video, or just in general electric skateboard type content, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram. I post a lot more cool electric skateboard clips on there, much more frequently than I am able to post YouTube videos, at least. So follow me in there if you want to see more of that. Other than that, thanks for watching. Again, this is very sad news. Hopefully it all works out. But I will see you next time.